Hello there. Okay, so in this video, we are going to change from one unit of measure to another, but we're going to do so by using a conversion factor. So we're going to use a conversion factor to change from one unit of measure to another, say to go from feet to inches, quarts to cups. So a conversion factor is, let's do a definition, it's a ratio of two equivalent measures. So a conversion factor is a ratio of two equivalent measures. So I know that 1 foot and 12 inches is the same thing. So a conversion factor is 12 inches is the same thing as 1 foot because it's written as a ratio, and 12 inches is the same as 1 foot. So it's a ratio of two equivalent measures. Okay, to do this, doing these problems though, there's some details we're going to take advantage of that I want to mention first. First of all, we're going to be using canceling. We're going to be wanting to see things as fractions with tops and bottoms, whether we have numbers or whether they have units of measure. And when you multiply two fractions, sure, you can multiply across and have 6 over 21, but then I have to simplify. It's faster if I notice what's on top and what's on bottom. So in this case, hey, I see this 3. I have a 3 top and bottom. That means they can cancel. And this is just what's left on top and on bottom, 2 7s. That's one thing we'll take advantage of. Another thing we're going to take advantage of is we're going to be rewriting a number as a fraction so we can see a numerator and denominator. So if you have the problem 5 times 3/5, remember that 5 is the same as 5 over 1. And now that we have as a multiplication of two fractions, again, I can see, hey, I have two things that are the same. I can cancel those, and I just see this as 3 over 1, or 3. So 3 over 1, or 3. The other thing that you'll be using is some customary equivalencies. And there's a number that people typically know. We often know that 1 foot is 12 inches. It's pretty common for people to know that 1 yard is 36 inches. You might know that there's 8 fluid ounces in 1 cup. And there's many, but we're going to be taking advantage of these customary equivalencies because these will become our conversion factors. So let's do some examples. So how do you change units of measure using conversion factor? So here's the first problem. So what if I have 6 yards, and I want to convert that into an equal number of inches. So here's my steps I'm going to take. I'm going to copy the problem. I'm going to consider the units. And is there equivalency for the units I have? So in this case, I'm going to consider yards and inches. And is there an equivalency I know between yards and inches? Because once I have that, I'm going to write out the conversion factor. And that's going to help me cancel any unwanted measures. So once I do that, then I can cancel what's possible, and I will complete any computation. So I know that in 1 yard, there's 36 inches. So I want to write down the conversion factor so that the yards cancel out. In order to do that, the yards need to be written at the bottom. So 1 yard is the same thing as 36 inches. By doing this, I recognize that, hey, 6 yards is the same as 6 over 1, and I have a top. So I have 6 yards over 1 times 36 inches over 1 yard. And I notice, hey, do I have anything in common? Yes, I do. I have yards here and yards here. They will cancel out. And I'm left with 6 times 36. 6 times, and then I have my units, my inches. So my inches match. So 6 times 30 is 180. 6 times 6 is 36. 180 plus 36 is 216 inches. So 6 yards is the same as 216 inches. Let's do another example. Let's go from 18 cups is equal to how many pints? This is one that's fairly well known. I know that there are 2 cups in 1 pint. So 1 pint is the same thing as 2 cups. That means I can use this equivalency to write my conversion factor. And I want the cups to cancel out. So I'm going to write my conversion factor here. Since I have cups in the top here, think of it as a fraction. I want cups in the bottom. So I know that 2 cups is the same as 1 pint. And again, I see the units. I have cups on top and cups on bottom. They'll cancel. And now, what am I left with? I'm left with pints, and I'm left with 18 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Well, fraction is a division problem. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So that is the same as 9 pints. So 18 cups is the same as 9 pints. Okay, so in this case, for both these cases, I had one equivalency and I could write it in one conversion. But you don't have to do it in one step. Let's try this. 3 days is equal to how many minutes? Now, I don't know how many minutes there are in a day, but I do know that in one day, there's 24 hours. And I know in 1 hour, there's 60 minutes. So you can use more than one conversion factor to get to your answer. And I'm going to use both of these equivalencies to get to this answer. So, all right, 3 days. And my first conversion is going to be between days. And I know in 1 day, because I want them to cancel, there's 24 hours. But I'm not interested in how many hours 3 days is. I'm interested in how many minutes. So I need the connection between hours and minutes. So in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. So if I look again, do I have anything that's the same top and bottom? Yes, I have days here and I have days here. And conveniently, I have hours here and hours here. And notice everything on the bottom is 1. So this simply turns into, if I consider what's left over, I have 3 times 24, as the hours canceled, just as the days canceled, times 60 minutes. Now, I'm not going to sit here and do that a long way. I'm going to get out a calculator, and I'm going to go 3 times 24 times 60. Oops, excuse me. 3 times 24 times 60. Oh, I write close twice. 3 times 24 equals 72. That sounds right. Times 60. 4,320. So 3 days is equivalent to 4,320 minutes. Who would have known? So this was using conversion factors. And the conversion factors are key here. So in this last problem, this was a conversion factor, and this was a conversion factor. Our second problem, the 1 pint over 2 cups was our conversion factor. In the first problem, 36 inches over 1 yard was a conversion factor. But we used conversion factors to change from one unit of measurement to another, and we did this. We first copied the problem, we thought about the units, and was there an equivalency? On these first 2 there were, and we were able to write the conversion factor. If we didn't see one right away, we asked, well, is there a way to connect one unit of measure to another? And we did 2 conversion factors. We wrote out the conversion factors so we can cancel out our unwanted units. And then we had to complete any computation that was left over. Hope this helps.